Salam jumpa sahabat dari Bali, bersama saya Tirka Widanti. Jumpa kembali dalam acara Chit East Meets West, sebuah bincang santai yang menghadirkan sahabat-sahabat dari mancanegara. Nah, langsung saja kita sapa sobat kita hari ini, seorang couple, seorang pasangan yang senior, yang luar biasa, yang sudah pulang pergi Bali, Australia, Bali. Nah, langsung saja kita sapa yang pertama Bapak Peter McMillan dan juga dengan Ibu Heather Brown. Hi Pak Peter, how are you today?
Very well, thank you.
And Ibu Heather?
Well, thank you.
Welcome back to Bali, yeah, after COVID, yeah.
Yes.
So 2 years already not seeing Bali. Finally that we are here. Okay, Pak Peter and Ibu Heather, I think if we have not mistaken, I met both of you for the very first time in 1997, yeah. After that we focus on our own, focus on our business, focus on your business especially, and then COVID made us meeting again. COVID actually meeting us, both of us. Remember 2 years ago, yeah, we did our online program, we did our online chit chat with Australian, especially with Northern Territory government and also Indonesian government. Okay, so tell me more about both of you now. Pak Peter, here is a very good environment. We are here in Bali now, actually. Tell me more about yourself. When was your first time in Bali for both of you?
Heather's first time here was in 1975.
1975. You can count that, sobat dari Bali.
And then we came here together for the first time on the way back from our honeymoon.
So your honeymoon is in Bali, yeah?
Partly, yeah.
Partly.
Yeah. And then fell in love with this part of Bali, Ubud. Obviously, all of Bali is good, but for us coming back after the COVID break was like coming home. We have invested in education here and tourism in this village of Kediwatan, and also we have property down in Samana on the Ayong River. In Australia we have both worked in the property sector, Heather in financial services, and more recently in the crocodile industry.
Crocodile, ya. Kulit buaya, ya. Kulit buaya, crocodile leather, skin, crocodile skins business. Nanti kita dengarkan lebih jauh lagi. Then,
well, we're
back home.
to do some more work in Ubud, especially Kediwatan, developing a kindergarten for local people and some education facility that will bring especially the Northern Territory and Bali together. Objective is to help young Balinese people get some training and work experience in Australia.
Oh, that's very cool. Actually, COVID made us, COVID is also useful for us. Yeah, it's not only in negative things, but COVID also has a function for us. Okay, anything. Well, what about Ibu Heather?
Well, as Peter said, I first came here in 1975 as a student on a 2-month trip around Southeast Asia.
You were students, yeah?
Yeah.
In 1975.
Yeah, university student. So that was, at that time, quite a lot of us young Australian people would do that, but for my family, that was quite a challenging idea that I would go on my own at that young age. I went with a classmate, so she and I travelled around, but they trusted us, I guess, to be responsible.
Falling in love first time in Bali.
Alive to tell the tale. That was very exciting, and I suppose that was, I don't suppose, it was the beginning of my great, a very strong affinity with Southeast Asia and particularly with Indonesia. So Peter and subsequently then, finished university, career path with big multinational corporations and so forth, but Peter and I have always had that common bond in loving Southeast Asia, to the point where we lived in Singapore for many years, and during that time we started to invest in Bali in particular. And so that wheel has kept turning around and round, and I think in 30 years we've only had a period of about 18 months where we haven't regularly been coming to Bali. So Bali's in our blood, I guess you can say. And
like me, like Darwin.
Yes.
How I love Darwin, actually. Yeah.
To the point where I think it's in your blood when you
first
forget,
time.
Well, the more that you forget when you're in your non-home country that you're actually not from there, you tend to feel so much a part of it. And for us, a part of it means doing a lot of things, not lying beside the pool, but being involved with our community, developing our staff, building the properties, looking for the right kind of people to come into our own community. And I think creation of a community is something that we've learned from Balinese. That
we both learn each other.
That has become
Balinese also learn from you.
From us.
Yeah.
Two
ways. Two ways learning, two ways communication learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so with the Crocodile Skin Accessories, which is a company that...
So that's why we met, with the crocodiles, skins, leather,
that's it.
Actually the jewelry and project things.
Yes. So Bali being such a creative place offers a lot of opportunities, but you have to be quick in your own mind to see how those skills can come together. Your idea being from away outside of here, but with the skills of the Tukangs here or the people here, can help you achieve a goal that you didn't know you could achieve, really. And so it's that meeting of the minds, and I think Bali is a place which historically has grown up with a meeting of minds, whether it's for Balinese together or Indonesians or outside of Indonesia people coming, and that's what is a very special part of here. So then, as Peter mentioned, now we're looking into...
So you are part of leading minds, yeah?
We feel privileged that we've had a chance in our own home country to take advantage of an education system, and our parents pushed us for that. And so we're always being educated.
You are, yeah. And well, so how I want to follow you, so starting from 1997, and looks we are now. Anyway.
Yes.
A very strong bond.
Very, very strong. Actually, you visited Bali for the first time in 1975. I visited Darwin for the very first time in 1982. So, what? Not too far. Anyway, I heard about education and tourism from Pak Peter. What does it mean?
The connection between, I will answer that question, but it's good to have some context, why is Indonesia and Australia connected? And we look to modern times when maybe it was Australian surfers coming to Kuta.
Kuta, like Kuta is Australian billet, like that.
Yeah. But what most people don't understand is that the indigenous people in Australia, in the Northern Territory, were trading with and visiting Indonesia for 400, 500 years.
Back. Yeah.
So we only think about the modern history, but our countries are connected
Already. Yeah.
forever.
Forever. Yeah.
So it's really strengthening that connection, and we believe the best way to do that is through education
Yes.
with young people.
Yes.
And then, from small things, big things grow, it becomes infectious. And look at yourself, Pooh. You went as an exchange student to Australia, and you've always been.
When I was a
connected to that
baby.
place.
I always falling in love with the Northern Territory. So to say like that, as Northern Territory, especially Darwin, is close by. It's only 2.5 hours
Yeah.
flying. Yeah. Anyway, so
Just to close on the building that started 2+ years ago with Governor Zul, based in Lombok, and we spent many hours with him and visits to try and help him with the education objective he had for his people in the area of hospitality, because he had a big international event.
last time, yeah.
Yeah. And needed to upskill his people.
Sure.
And again, like you, Governor Zul, he came as an exchange student.
Exchange students, yes. Governor Jul, also. So that's why we met 2 years ago
Correct.
on Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom meeting. Anyway, so of
It's
course
easy for him.
we want to reconnect. Yeah. Anyway, refer to your answer that you have come, you have come back and forward to Australia 4 years. How do you find it? Is it difficult or
You mean because of COVID or just generally?
generally? Yeah.
No, I think for Peter and myself, we've been so used to straddling the two countries that it's almost, Bali is almost like an extension of our life in Australia. There's not much of an adjustment for us because we're so familiar. But that's not to say we're complacent at all, not at all, but there's not much of an adjustment. But what we do appreciate is the advancements that have occurred in Bali in particular, compared with, forget about when I first came here in 1975.
That's different. that's first training, yeah?
Yeah, but even from when we first met you in 1997, Peter was building our very first project. Oh my goodness, now it's just so much more advanced in so many ways.
And relief too. Yeah.
So that's very exciting, and we've been reminded just these past few days about how special the creativity is in Bali. I don't mean just in the visual arts or anything like that. I mean in things like architectural features and building materials and architecture itself and garden design, and it's just endless, really. I'm reminded of the tremendous skill of the people in Bali through the eyes of a visitor who's Australian but visited here plenty of times, but she hadn't experienced this, what I would say, creative overload until she came to this part of Bali where we are sitting right now.
Is that the reason why are you coming back?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's always exciting. There's always something new and different we can do ourselves with our people, introduce somebody to a business opportunity where then they can employ more people. We really love that, and new projects for us where we're involved in now on the education side, trying to work on programs where we're taking skills from Australia to combine with skills here, meeting of the minds, two-way learning,
And also exchange them.
yeah, and building the people up here in more skills, which we know everybody wants to achieve.
For sure.
So
Especially young generations, especially the youth. Yeah.
yes, we find that very, very rewarding, because we some people, there's this common phrase of giving back. I don't really like that, because it feels to me it's like a donation. We are sharing our spirit, sharing our knowledge.
Sharing one another, sharing knowledge one another.
Yeah, and hopefully
Like today you share to me.
yeah, and hopefully inspiring some of these young people to go in a pathway that perhaps no one in their family has ever done before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and be really become successful, whatever field it is, to have the courage.
Yes, for both of us now, learn from that one.
Yeah.
So, regardless, for the first time you came to Bali in 1997, right?
1975.
1975, and I went there in 1982. Well, of course, the phenomena, the paradigm, our paradigm was different. But now, since we always realize ourselves, then we are here, still connecting together. Yeah. And what about you, Pak? Are you still doing the property business, or in terms of that?
I just love working with the local people. Bali is very important to us, but I think we also should share that we have travelled extensively in Indonesia. We had one journey that started in Medan, and we spent 4 days rafting down the Alas River, and then we made our way to Ubud, all across.
Yeah.
Train, plane, bus, car, and that was a wonderful experience. Over to Sumbawa, to Lombok, 32 years ago, went to the Bandas in the Maluku. So we have seen a lot of Indonesia. Bali's very special, but generally your country is a wonderland.
I hope.
Yeah. The other point that I'd like to make, and often we get asked, how many times have you been to Bali? Well, I haven't kept count, but I would be surprised if it wasn't at least 300 times.
300 times. Yeah.
People say, well, why do you go there so often? And it's not because of the architecture, it's not because of Makkah, it's because of, it's really because of the people.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful.
Make me very, very, thank you very much. You are saying that. That is, actually, not that is, that is your background, and also currently you are doing the property, and now until now so still doing that, and also in terms of the hospitality, education, tourism, and so on. And what about you, Ibu Heather? Are you continuing your crocodile leather? Yeah, crocodile.
Yes, I'm still
skin.
We're producing still some accessories using our crocodile skin from Darwin here in Bali. Over the years, we have developed so much innovation, which without the people at that particular enterprise that custom makes for us, we would never have been able to achieve those results. And our clients are constantly surprised and enthralled and excited about all of that, which started off in a small way, of course, in an experiment, and then became a bit of a monster. But yes, that, and I'm working with a friend on another project where she's going to be making some items here in Bali as well, using a different material that comes from Australia combined with workmanship here. The same sort of principle as what I did, but she's using something completely different.
Because it was very it was very, now it's still popular, the crocodile skin, the crocodile leather especially.
Yeah. Very
Look
unique.
at, very unique, very unique, yeah. Well, how do you find Bali 20 years ago? And this present time? Is it much different in
I would
What
make
is
a
the
comment about
difference?
more so rather than reflecting on 20 years ago, just in to do with COVID, bearing in mind we were here for many months in 2020, so we experienced the COVID crisis as it evolved in this country, or particularly in Bali, much more than what we
other areas in Indonesia?
Yes, that's right, or even in Australia. But I think that COVID has been a blessing.
Like I said at the earlier, that COVID made us meeting again here.
Yeah, COVID has made us in our world here. We've had to recalibrate,
Yes, correct.
Recalibrate our work here, our staff, how we manage, what the duties of the staff were, how to keep people employed. It just made us focus on a different business management side of things. So we had to be very much like a dancer. That movement.
Okay, that is not
That's
really
not
really.
gonna work anymore.
Yeah.
The music's changed.
Music
We've
changed
got
and
to
now
change
another dance.
another choreography.
Choreography,
And
yeah.
we have to come back to our skills as dancers, how we're going to manage that new choreography.
Yes.
And now we've come out of it and we're going to another choreography. And thanks to, as Peter says, the people, our staff and the people around us, we're able to come out into another way.
Reconnect.
Recalibrate again for the next fresh
Thanks
start.
to COVID.
Thanks to
COVID.
Yeah. So
yeah.
we never felt down with it. We felt we have to manage our way through.
Yes.
So I think that's very good, and I feel now that we're back in Bali, I like what I see. Because a lot of people have done looking at things differently. We can see from our physical environment.
It's very, very quick moving.
Very quick.
And then move on, we
Yeah.
say it. Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as compared with 20 years ago, of course, it's a lot busier. And pre-COVID, there are different kinds of visitors coming to Bali, which that also means different choreography to
yeah.
deal with the different
Strategy, style, and so on.
and so on.
Yeah.
So we in the tourism sector, you have to be agile to because in the old days, let's say 20 years ago, here we had a lot of Japanese visitors. Few countries of origin dominated the tourism arrivals. Then that kept changing. COVID had changed a lot.
The style is changing too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that means people in the tourism sector have to be agile.
Agile and always has a set strategy like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the common thread always, I believe, to be successful in that sector or any, is to observe what's going on with your target market and try to understand them. And then try to figure out what it is that they like and build on that. Because in your bag of steps in the choreography, you can do lots of different things.
Sure.
But you need to know which ones that they want. So I think from a tourism perspective, COVID means coming out of COVID because there's an energy.
Are you saying that the COVID is filtering it?
Yes, I agree. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But things are moving more quickly now than pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
So that means tourism operators need to be even more quick to understand the changes.
The changes, yeah, yeah, okay. Well, this is very, very naive question maybe, yeah. Is Bali becoming your last post for both of you?
Our last post.
Yeah.
It'll be always a base for us.
Always a
Question
base,
about that.
yeah.
But we're at a stage in life where we are starting to slow down, and there's so much to see and do. We've been very fortunate to have seen and done many things. I do remember at one stage early in our marriage, Heather said to me, "Do you know that our last 12 holidays have been to Asia?" She said, "Do you think we could visit Europe sometime?" So we do intend to spend a bit more time in
To
Europe.
refresh,
Yeah.
maybe.
But see, for an Australian, Darwin's a wonderful place to base yourself because you're already halfway to Europe.
Yeah, yeah.
For us to travel from Sydney, where we also have a base, it's a 24-hour trip to get to Europe. Here, halfway.
Halfway, yeah. So,
Halfway to everywhere.
oh, yeah, to everywhere. Please tell us, or please tell the Dari Bali friends over there, what is your hope or what is your wish for Bali now and in the future?
Just wish, hope and pray that Bali stays safe. And the big change in the 20 years is how more open it is now.
Because of the technology, because of the IT.
But I think your government's been wonderful. Yeah. Now, we can invest in Indonesia, in Bali. Before it was difficult. We now have an agreement between our two countries that is encouraging two-way education. Yeah. It has opened up a lot.
Open mind for both of us, I mean for both of our countries. Yeah.
So I think stay safe and keep getting open more often.
Last but not least, maybe would you please tell us about one of your unforgettable experience while you are both in Bali?
A lot of those.
Or you can tell us a lot of those.
The experience that I think probably two experiences. Yeah? The first one is when I came here with my son, 10-year-old boy. He was very typical of a young Western person and needing the best Nike, the best this, the best that. And we travelled out to the vendors, and we spent a week there with Desawi, one of the founders of your modern country. And Desawi adopted my son for that week, and it just changed his life forever. Yeah.
So
And the second one quickly is at the age of 40, we were living in Singapore, and I was on that corporate treadmill, big company, directorships, everything, and it didn't feel right. So I said I have to change. So 40, I stopped, and I came and built Villa Samana, living on the site with the workers. We had 70 workers there at one stage. So I worked with them. I bathed in the river. And that changed me forever. We tend to be too materialistic, and to see how the people here conducted themselves with ceremony within the community, how peaceful they were, that was life-changing for me.
wow. Do you have other thing? Unforgettable?
Every day is the best day.
I have one I'd like to
Okay.
talk about. In the past few years with one of our properties here, which you've been to the Pondok Koko Learning Retreat, we've had various groups coming and staying who are here for educational purposes. And they all have their own programs, so we're supposed to be just helping them achieve their program, but sometimes the subject matter is irresistible to me, and so I get involved. And one of the groups from one of the universities, art-related universities in Singapore, and they came here for indigo dyeing workshop.
Indigo,
It was studying fashion design and marketing, and Bali is, as opposed to the rest of Indonesia and Japan, are about the only two places in the world where indigo is, the practice of indigo dyeing from the vegetable matter is done in a traditional way. So anyway, the students who are all university students came down to the workshop for about 5 days. And one of the side activities we organised was to go over to the village of Bona to
Village of Bona, yeah?
Yes, to experience ikat weaving. So it was meant to be just a side activity, but end up being, as rated by the students, the most memorable experience that they had. And the idea came up with the lecturers plus our manager here who lives in that village and myself. Because the lecturer had a goal of wanting the students to understand what it is to start to make something in the textile industry from the raw material, not go to the shop and buy the fabric. So we went there, and the gentleman is probably, we think, the best, he's an old man now, the best weaver of ikat in Bali. He went to the Technical University or College over in Bandung. He took himself there as a young man many years ago. That was part of the experience for the students. Understand how this man could have gone there, no telephone, etc. And anyway, they experienced from the fibre through to seeing a drawing, and then seeing the dyeing, the weaving, every step, and the magic of the loom and the ikat materializing. And to see that unbelievable. And when they see it coming out on the wooden loom, and they couldn't sleep. And so what was so exciting was it achieved the lecturer's objectives, and the students were changed.
Wow.
It was a very, very good experience. Yeah. So that from that, then we've taken more people there. So and
until now.
Yeah. And the other thing was that part of that experience with young people, the old man's, his grandson had been, by that stage was only about 12 or 13 years of age, practicing his English. He had been doing weaving things for his grandfather since he was a very tiny boy, and he took over the talkie. So we had a plan. We wanted him to be the spokesperson for his grandfather. So he went from being very shy
and become a spokesperson. Oh, unbelievable. So that was a true story.
Yeah, that was a very good experience.
Well, Bapak and Ibu, well, we love to know more about your story in Bali. It seems that very, very interesting. However, time's constraints, and then you have to leave. So we will be meeting next time, and then with more very, very important message to all of us here in Bali, especially to Dari Bali people, and also to our young generations. Yeah, and how we make how our world is in education and tourism, especially Bali is the best tourist destination until now. Yeah, I believe that. So how we improve this kind of statement. Yeah, so we also need your inputs, we also need your knowledge, to be sharing to us. Yeah, so next time we will be meeting again. So thank you for today, and thank you for making our time today. Yeah, and then we hope that we can see again. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
So baiklah sobat dari Bali, demikian tadi bincang-bincang saya dengan Bapak Peter McMillan dan Ibu Heather Brown yang punya segudang pengalaman di Bali. Beliau adalah juga seorang investor di Bali. Ya, ada properti, ada hotel, ada banyak sekali bisnisnya ya. Nanti kita akan bisa bincang lebih dalam lagi di kesempatan yang lain. Terima kasih. Salam sehat.